Hello and welcome. My name is Miss Melissa and I am a teaching artist. Today we are going to learn how to create an optical illusion, and actually it's going to look just like this. This video is part of the Acadiana Center for the Arts online series, Virtual Art Studio, where teaching artists present lessons in visual arts, dance, music, and more, and you can enjoy them from anywheres. So let me show you the supplies that you will need for today so you can create this optical illusion with me. You are going to need a couple of pencils, an eraser, and a ruler. So I have 2 pencils, an eraser, and a ruler. You are also going to need a couple of white colored pencils and black colored pencils. You are going to need a couple of extra fine tip permanent black markers, and you will also need a couple of fine tip permanent black markers. And lastly, you are going to need 1 white sheet of paper. You can use copy paper or drawing paper. I prefer drawing paper because it's a lot thicker, but if you don't have a certain type of drawing paper, just plain white copy paper is fine. Before we get started, I'd like to show you a couple of art vocabulary words and examples that we will be using to create your optical illusion. So what is an optical illusion? It is also known as op art. It is a form of abstract art that has mathematical foundations where repetition of colors, lines, and shapes can create these vibrating effects. Let's look at some examples of famous prints of op art. Here is a piece by Bridget Riley. Do you see how it looks like these squares are turning into rectangles, sort of smushed, and they're disappearing as they move through this center line? Here is another optical illusion piece by Bridget Riley. Again, do you see how this has a sort of spiral effect where it goes straight down the center? This is a famous print by Victor Vasarely. Can you see how it looks like these black and white checkers are sort of pushing up onto the paper, whereas here, doesn't it look like they're sinking down? These 2 zebras are also created by Victor Vasarely. This is one of his very famous optical illusions. They look like they're intertwining. And here we have that optical illusion that I showed you earlier that we are going to create today. Bob Landsroth is the artist that created this. Now I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to make this today. In order to create this optical illusion that I just showed you, we are going to need to draw a couple of lines. We're going to draw a series of straight lines going in different directions, and we're going to draw curvy lines going in opposite directions. We're going to draw both these straight and curvy lines with a pencil. We are also going to be using value. What does value mean in art? Here's an example of a value scale that one of my students painted. As you can see, This side is a very light gray, and as you move all the way to this side, it's black. So there are several ranges of gray in between. Value has to do with the differences and the ranges of lights and darks. We're going to be using value today with white and black colored pencils. We are also going to be creating a 3D shape. What is a 3D shape? Here are some examples of 3D shapes. We have a sphere, a cube, a rectangular prism, a pyramid, a cylinder, and a cone. We are going to be creating an illusion of a cone. Lots of cones onto our optical illusion. All right, now we are ready to begin making our optical illusion. First, I want to say you're going to have to cut your white paper, especially if you use copy paper. The size that we're going to be working with is 8 inches by 8 inches, so you'll get a square. Copy paper is 8.5 inches by 11, so it's very close. Now, you can cut paper a larger size, like 10 inches by 10 inches, for example, but you will have to have a large sheet of drawing paper to do that, and it's just a personal choice. So this paper is a square. It's 8 inches by 8 inches. So that's the first thing you need to do with your paper. Now, once you cut your paper, there are 2 things I want you to know about lines. Whenever we draw a series of 6 lines together that intersect, we are not going to do it in the center, and we are not going to draw lines in the corner. So we're going to make our picture a little bit off-centered, okay? Okay, so first thing you want to do is take your ruler and make a dot to where it's a little bit off-centered, not quite in the center. We're just going to take a guess. We're going to draw 6 lines going in different directions. I'm going to start drawing lines that go up and down. Then I'm going to intersect it and go straight across, side to side. So you can do this with me. You're just going to be copying off of me while using a pencil. Okay, so that's 2 lines. We're going to draw 4 more. I'm sort of cutting these big, shapes in half. So I'm thinking what would be the halfway of this area and this area. So that was 3. Now notice, my ruler is not going into the corners. All right, and then I have 2 lines left because that was 4. This is going to be 5. And this one's going to be 6. All right, I just drew 6 lines that intersect at a point, and none of them end up in the corner. At any point in this video, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. You can catch up, and I will be here when you get back. Also, speaking of pausing, there are 5 steps in making this optical illusion. We just drew the first step. So I may get ahead sometimes and finish some of those steps. In that case, you will have to pause the video and continue working till you are finished with that step. Then you'll press play and I will be here. Speaking of steps, let's get to the second step. We are going to draw about 6 curvy lines in each triangle shape. Now there are 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 triangular shapes. We're going to draw about 4 to 6 curvy lines that alternate in each of these shapes, but we cannot draw in one triangle and then move to the next. We have to continuously move. So just copy off of me. All right, so let's start with our curvy lines. So just maybe watch. I have a curvy line going, this way. And so now I'm going to draw it going the opposite way. Around and inside. Let's see. I'm going to go around this way and inside that way. Do you see how I'm alternating these curvy lines? Now we just kind of made a wave. It's going to look like we have several waves, but we're just drawing curvy lines. So remember I said we're going to make about 4 to 6? So let's do our second one. Now you have to draw it in the same direction as you drew your first line within that triangle. So these 2 lines kind of curve around. So now these 2 lines are going to curve in. You see? So this one's going to curve out. This one's going to go in. Out, in, out, in. And you kind of want to keep your eye moving so we could get this wavy type of line. Out, in, out, and in. All right, so that was 1 and 2. Now we're going to go to our third line. Remember I said you can fit 4 to 6, so here we go. 1 goes out. This is in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and in. All right, now let's draw our 4th line. That was out. This is in. This one's going to go out. It looks like it's going to run off the page. This one's going in. This one's going out. In and out, in and out, in and out, and back in again. All right, now as you can see, I'm kind of running out of room here, so I'm not going to be able to fit a line in this shape. I don't think in this one either. So I'm going to start here. Out, in, out, in, out, in, and out. So this would be in, out, in, out. All right, so you have to kind of figure out what the outside's gonna look like and guess where that line goes so everything connects. I may even have a little line that goes in there. So just kind of double check your work. Make sure you have all your lines match up and it looks like a wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, about 4 to 6 lines. Very good. Okay, so once you finish drawing your alternating curvy lines within each triangle. Then what we're going to do is mark our paper with B for black, so we can use a black Sharpie just in those spaces. So I'm just going to start in the middle. Now, you'll see that every shape that or space that touches the B will be left empty. So it's going to make a pattern. So this is B. I'm going to just go in a circle. Skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip. So now, since I skipped this space, I'm going to put B here. Do you see? So this will be skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip. We're making a pattern. So since this is B, I'm going to move over. We're going to skip here and put it here. Skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B. So far, every space that's touching is going to be black and white. B stands for black. So I skipped here, so now I'm going to put a B. Skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip. And you might even want to say it out loud because it helps. So here we have a B. We're going to skip. And then a B is going to go here. Skip, B, skip. This little corner is going to be a B. Skip, B, skip, B, skip, B, skip. Now, my edges are probably different than yours, so just, take your time and count your spaces. So if I skipped here, I'm going to put a B here. This will be empty, empty, and empty. So let's just pretend that I could see it. B, skip, B. So here I'm going to have a B, skip. Not going to see anything there. This will have a B, and this will have a B. All right, good job. I'm moving on. Now we can actually color these letters black. I'm going to use my extra fine tip to color the spaces in the center. Now this is going to take a little while, so just take your time, and I hope you enjoy the process. All right, so now I'm going to move on to the next space that has a B. I think I'm just going to color the this, circular wave with the extra fine for now. Now, maybe you drew more than 4, 5, or 6 curvy lines. If you did and put them closer together, your picture is going to be a little different. You may have to use your extra fine tip marker beyond that first circular shape. And it might take you a little bit longer, but I'm sure it will be great. So just take your time and color in all of your areas that have B. This will help you keep your black and white pattern consistent so you don't color in the wrong space. Okay, now I think I'm going to move on with my fine tip marker. And it's nice because it goes right over the B. I'm just going to work my way out. Now, maybe you started on the outside and you wanted to work your way to the inside. That's fine too. You also want to make sure you have a permanent black marker so you don't get any smudges. Just continue to take your time. All right, I'm moving on to my next row of curves. You're probably going to need another marker. It's possible, depending on how many areas you have to color. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple just in case I run out. Now, I'm probably going to get ahead and finish this so you can see what it looks like. And then you can just pause the video until you are finished with this step. And when you do finish shading in with your black marker, it will look something like this. Doesn't it look like some of these cones? It looks like a cone, right? Like a triangular shaped object with some depth. Doesn't it look like every other cone is kind of coming forward? So now what we're going to do is we're going to enhance these cone shapes to look even, I guess you could say, we're going to give it more of an illusion that it's actually a cone. So let's do that now with colored pencils. Now, what I'm going to do is use a paper so my hands don't smudge when I touch the marker. So I'm going to start with white. We're going to use white in all of the black areas. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by shading in the middle, all the way down. And you're going to press the hardest here, but I'm not really pressing hard. I guess I'm pressing medium. And then as you move out, you're going to get lighter and lighter. So you're going to apply less pressure as you move throughout this shape. And actually, when you get to the end, you want to leave, you know, some areas of black, like a line of black. So this is going to take some time. We're going to do each one. So I'm pressing medium, and then I just get softer and softer as I work my way out. And I'm leaving an area of black on the edges. I just noticed this texture underneath. So I guess that, you know, if you have a smooth table or a smooth surface underneath your paper, it may come out smooth. I obviously have some type of rough texture. So I'm just going to keep moving throughout. Now I'm going to put the paper down. Let me see if I can get it a little bit brighter over here. Now, everybody's going to have their own way of doing this. You may not want to put as much white as I am. You see the difference from this cone to that one? Now I'm going to move here. I'm going to start off by pressing medium. Find my line in the center. And then as I move out, I'm going to get softer and softer, which will make it lighter and lighter. And I'm going to leave some areas of black. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because there's so many cones. There's going to be so many to look at. See, they're not exactly the same, and that's okay. All right, I'm going to keep moving. I'm hoping to get at least halfway so you can see the difference. And then I'll probably get ahead, and you'll have to pause and catch up so you can at least see. So I got ahead, and I finished shading each triangle, and there are 12 triangular shapes. I finished shading each one with white, focusing on making the center line darker and fading it out with leaving a little black on each side. So now it's time for the last step. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time with the black onto the white, except I'm going to shade the exterior super light and fade it out and leave the middle white. So I'm going to do this on all of each triangular shape. So you may have to pause the video and finish shading with your white colored pencil, and then you can get to the black. And I'm going to use my white paper so I don't smudge anything. Now, just to make some areas different, again, I might not put as much black as I would on one triangular piece as I do another. And I say triangular shape, but really we're giving the viewer the illusion that this is a 3D shape, a cone to be exact. It's a perspective drawing. This is coming out really neat. You can press, I guess, medium soft on the edge and then lighten up as you move through the center. Okay, so this is what my finished optical illusion looks like. We made a replica of one of Bob Lansroth's pictures. I hope you enjoyed making this with me today. Thanks for creating with us today. Be sure to come back next week for a new virtual art studio.